All right. This is the first episode of Side Piece Saturday where I bring an extra person onto the channel and we do a live stream. This is Chico. We're talking about NASCAR and our playoff predictions.
Yeah.
All right, you got anything to say?
Uh, no, we can just get into it.
Okay.
I'm ready.
So, round of 16, what do you think happens?
So you got Darlington, pretty good track. Kansas usually puts out pretty good racing in our next gen car, and then Bristol. Short track racing's been kind of rough with the new package, but the people I got eliminating are Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Michael McDowell, and Ryan Blaney.
Mm. Mm.
Um, Bubba Wallace, he's only got four top fives this year, and his last one was in the Coke 600 in May, which is pretty far back. So he's running on no momentum. And then you got runs good at Kansas,
He
but
does. He does.
like I think the whole like round kind of depends if he can run good at Darlington and Bristol and keep the points that he has in Kansas.
Yeah, well,
Ricky, go ahead.
I was looking at the qualifying for Darlington. Let me look back at that again. Let's see where he qualified. Oh shoot, hold on. You can keep talking. I'll look and find it.
I got you. I got you. I'm with you. Um, Let me look. Bubba Wallace qualified 19th this weekend.
Yeah, that's pretty
Uh,
pretty bad. All right.
yeah, he's not the worst out of the playoff drivers though.
No, no.
And Martin had a really bad qualifying run. Yeah. But next I've got Ricky Stenhouse. He's only got one top five besides his 500 win. He's probably the worst driver in the playoffs, honestly, based on
Yeah.
his finishes, and he's got no momentum at all coming into the playoffs. After being a wreck, he was wrecked last week at Daytona and ran pretty awful all year besides the 500. And then McDowell, he only had one top five besides his win, and it was at Atlanta, which is how they race it now. It's kind of pretty much just a super speedway. And then he ran bad at Kansas and Darlington earlier this year. Uh, what I looked at. So, and then Blaney, he did run really good at the beginning of the season. And the Coke 600, which was the race he won, was the high point of his season. I think, I mean, I don't really have any good reasons for this, but I just kind of think it's an upset first round departure because I know Blaney typically doesn't run the best at Bristol either. But yeah, that's what I think. What are you thinking on the round of 16?
Well, I know Blaney is pretty inconsistent in the playoffs. He never even. I don't think he ever does good in the playoffs. Actually, has he even made the round of 8 before? I don't think he's even done that. But I think
Yeah,
he makes it through. My eliminations. I got two surprises in here. I got Ricky Stenhouse
mhm.
Jr., Bubba Wallace, Kevin Harvick, and Joey Logano.
Mhm.
Um, Kevin Harvick, I don't think he's gonna win any races, and I think he's one of those upset guys. And then Logano, he has the four DNFs, and I think he's just another upset. He qualified. He's in a good spot. He qualified sixth at Darlington, and then
Yeah.
but usually there's that one guy who just doesn't make it. So I think Kevin Harvick, it's a points thing, and then Joey Logano is just my wild card pick.
Yeah. Um, the round of 12, it's kind of like a toss-up round. I was talking to you earlier, like you got Texas, which is pretty much one of the worst racetracks on the whole, what they race all year. And then Talladega, uh, super speedway racing, just we know how that goes. And then the Roval, which always puts out a pretty good race, but it's kind of a toss-up for all these drivers. My departures are Christopher Bell. Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski. For Christopher Bell, I the win came at Bristol Dirt, which is just kind of a lucky race, and I think he could run it to good at the Roval, which kind of makes me rethink like him putting him out. But like I think this round, like I said, just a big toss up. Uh, Reddick's win came at Coda, and he could also run good at the Roval, but typically not the best at super speedway racing, and you don't really hear about him much. So maybe contend at Texas. He finished third in the All Star race, but I think his lack of playoff points is what's going to hurt him in this round. And Kevin Harvick, he finished 18th at the All Star race, which was at Texas, and usually he runs pretty horrendous at road courses. Um, you never really hear about him much, and then you never really hear about him much on super speedways either. And he only has four playoff points. Farewell to Harvick. I don't know. I don't think he can contend for a championship this year, but he's a great driver. And then Brad Keselowski. I think the rise of Roush or Roush Fenway Keselowski is real, but I think personally I think Brad is second at the team behind Busher. I think he could contend at Talladega, but if he doesn't win there, he'll most likely be eliminated, in my opinion. What are you thinking here, Logan?
Okay, so you said Harvick, Bell, Reddick, and who else? Keselowski?
Brad Keselowski.
Yeah. Okay. well, I just don't agree with the Bell one. I mean, he's always good at short tracks. Short tracks are probably his best races. And then, I mean, I just think he's up high in points. I don't see how he could. Honestly, I don't think he could get knocked out that quick. But my eliminations are Michael McDowell, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, and Kyle Larson. Michael McDowell is just a points thing, and I think his best shot through this round would have been to win the road course. But I have Tyler Reddick winning the road course at Charlotte.
Yeah, I could definitely, like I said, I could definitely see that happening because he's really good at road courses.
Yeah, I mean at Coda he was the guy to beat, but there was no stopping him anyways. He ran a complete different strategy from all the other leaders, and he still fought all the way through and won. I think there was even like a caution which messed up his the what he was running, his strategy he was running. He still won that race. He was just that fast. But obviously Ryan Blaney just not good at running in the playoffs. Ross Chastain,
Yeah,
besides that one race at Nashville, has really not been too amazing. He doesn't even have 10 top 10s. All these other guys every single other guy in the top 12 has top 10s. Have 10 plus top 10s. Kevin Harvick has 12 out, and that's obviously already had him eliminated. So, I mean, it's actually 11 or more, so he has 9. And the next guy after that is Brad Keselowski and Tyler Reddick, who only have 11 top 10s. But he has almost 500 laps led. I just don't see him being able to do really much at all in this round. Nashville is kind of a weird configuration anyway, so that's more of a different track, and he just had an unstoppable
yeah,
car, kind of like Reddick
and it's
at
still
Coda.
just kind of like a new track, and nobody's like really
Yeah,
straight
that's
into the
like
swing
the
of Nashville. Yeah,
third year they've raced there, coming back.
yeah,
Kyle
yeah,
Larson is just an inconsistency thing. Um, I already told you earlier before we started recording, he has 2 wins and 10 top fives, but only 12 top tens right after that and 6 DNFs. I just don't see the playoffs going that his way this year for him. So that's my
yeah.
idea on it.
All right, yeah, and then we go to the round of eight, which is Las Vegas, Homestead, Miami, and Martinsville. My eliminations are Busher, Chastain, Logano, and Larson. Uh, Busher, I think experience is what's gonna make Busher like losing this round of eight. He finished 21st at Las Vegas and 14th at Martinsville in the spring, but the pressure would be on him. Uh, the playoff points could carry him pretty far, but when you get to like the round of eight, the playoff points kind of become irrelevant because you got all the guys, the really good drivers, and the eight really good drivers
Yeah, it's really
that
about
kind
who
of
can
deserve to
win.
be in.
It's really about who can win at that
Yeah.
point.
And then Chastain, he only really got in the championship for last year because of his Hail Melon move at Martinsville. He ran top 15 at Las Vegas and Martinsville in the spring, but I just don't think Chastain can make it unless he gets some momentum from winning a race at the playoffs at all. Because I mean, he hasn't really built any momentum in the past. Well, he hasn't won since Nashville, so it's just he needed momentum to really get him because that's what Chastain gets. My Chastain, I think once Chastain
Yeah,
gets going, like he puts a win in, and then he can finish top fives.
yeah,
But you really haven't heard about him much in the second half of the year.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then Logano, of course, he's the reigning championship. He wrecked at Las Vegas earlier this year. Definitely not one of his best tracks. Um, although he finished second at Martinsville earlier this year, I think bringing him to the round of eight could really, honestly, be too far. Bringing him too far, and you obviously would agree with that too. Um, I think Logano will have a rough time making it to the championship for this year. And then Larson, like you said, very inconsistent with 6 DNFs being the most in the playoff field. Larson would need to find some speed, obviously. He ran very well at Martinsville and Las Vegas earlier this year, as he won at Martinsville. But I think he would just need to pick up his consistency. Obviously, with the way the playoffs are now, he just need to keep up his consistency to even be in the round of eight. Um, what are you thinking here?
yeah. So, um, my top eight exits are going to be Tyler Reddick, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Chris Buescher. For RFK, it's really just they had all that momentum going into the playoffs. I think it's going to be. I mean, they're going to carry it a lot farther, but I think it's going to be like Ryan Blaney a couple years ago, where they get those three quick wins and going straight
Yeah,
into the playoffs, or like Kevin Harvick last year, he had two straight wins going into the playoffs. There's usually that one guy who uh, gets those big couple wins and then just falls off straight into the playoffs. But I think with how RFK has been running this whole year, how much they've improved, I think they can still get to the round of eight, both drivers. But I just don't think either of them are really fit out to get to round of four anymore. And then I mean, Tyler Reddick, he really hasn't been great anywhere uh outside of road courses this year.
road courses.
And I mean, his team screwed him out of a win at Michigan. So,
Yeah.
but he's just not been
Um,
consistent either. And then Kyle Busch, it's kind of the same thing. He's either all the way up there or he's just sort of chilling out around right around the top 10, but I just don't think he really has what it takes to get into the round of four. Unless he wins, he'll have to win, which he could easily do, but I don't think he'll make it into the round of four.
but yeah, I would say, would you? I don't know if you'd agree with this, but the move for Reddick has not proven kind of as good, if you know what I mean. Like Kyle Busch has obviously been way better than Reddick has been this year,
Yeah.
and I think that move is. I don't know if Reddick made the right move there because I think RCR is going to be pretty good in the future. If Austin Dillon could pick it up,
Well, there was all the speed coming into 2311 where uh, they swept both Kansas races last year, right? Where
yeah,
and that was both in the 45 car. So coming into the
Mhm.
45 car, so yeah, like I was saying, that 45 car, it looked really fast. And then he would have stuck it out one more year with RCR, but obviously he pretty much just got kicked off the team. And then Kyle Busch had no
yeah,
sponsorship money coming into Joe Gibbs, and that's really all Gibbs was looking at. But I
yeah,
think
and I feel like. Go ahead.
I feel like neither of them have really picked up or dropped off from where they were running beforehand. It's really just kind of like a plug and play. They didn't really like. It's not like Kyle Busch fell off going from Joe Gibbs to RCR, or Tyler Reddick got faster joining that 45 car in 2311. They're both of them sort of running the same thing. Tyler Reddick picks up one win a year, always has consistency issues. Kyle Busch, he's gone back to his typical winning, but I don't think he's been nearly as consistent as he has been before with Joe Gibbs, like as dominant. There's been years where no one can stop Kyle Busch, but I don't think he'll
Yeah.
ever really get back to that anymore.
Yeah. Um, so on the championship four, my losers are Hamlin, Truex, and Bush. And then obviously my championship winner, I have William Byron.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that I'd say he
William,
has favorite right there. Byron is most
yeah,
certainly the favorite at least.
yeah. Byron ran really good at the beginning of the year, and obviously he's summer slump. He's always had a problem with that, but it was not as bad this year, and he kind of got it over this year earlier than usual. At winning at where do you win at Watkins Glen, right?
Yeah, he won at
Uh,
Watkins Glen,
yeah. And
and
Byron usually find
he got a top. He came second, I think, or third at Coda too.
yeah. Byron usually he finds a lot of speed on the 1 mile tracks, which is Phoenix. Phoenix is a 1 mile track, and I think Byron has a pretty good short track car, which this is why I think he's going to win the championship. And then some reasons I wrote why I think some the championship other guys would lose. Hamlin, uh, we all know how this goes. Hamlin can be good all year and then just choke in the championship race. I mean,
Yeah,
it happened at Homestead. It's happened at Phoenix before. Um, Not all the stuff is his fault usually. Like that one year, whenever the pit crew put that huge piece of tape in front of his grill. Uh, and then Truex, I'd say he's definitely second favorite behind Byron right now, at least. Truex, he kind of like Truex is kind of inconsistent on short tracks. Like Truex, definitely the short tracks are definitely not his best, or at least I don't think so. Which is why I think he can run good at Phoenix, but I don't know.
he has run very.
Were they still at Homestead when
Wait,
he
say that
won a
again.
championship? Were they still at home? Were
Yeah,
they still at
that was
Homestead
20
when?
2017. They were still in Homestead. Yeah, he
Okay,
usually dominates all his wins, and that's usually a mile and a half. So run like he'll lead like 300 laps out of races. It's crazy.
yeah. Um, and then Kyle Busch, RCR's had trouble at short tracks, like anything below a mile. They've had a lot of trouble bringing good short track cars. They kind of Kyle ran all right at where was it? I think he finished top five at Richmond, maybe. But and then he won Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is I believe a 1 mile.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
But I think he could maybe run good at Phoenix, but kind of like Truex, his wins are dominant wins. And like you said, he's kind of been a little. He's either sitting in the top fifth in 15th or so, or dominating the race. But that's why I think Kyle Busch would fall out of the championship in the championship four. What are you thinking? Yeah.
So I have the same thing with you for Denny Hamlin and Truex being eliminated, but I also have Byron. And where did you say Christopher Bell was out round of 16 or round of 12?
I had him out in the round of 12.
Yeah, well, I have him winning. He he races really good at short tracks, and he should have won at New Hampshire this year. He got wrecked late though, so he would have more points coming into this playoffs. But obviously, he's already shown his dominance there. Um, for every race this year except for Coda, he's finished top 10 at the road courses, and he wrecked out at Coda, I'm pretty sure. And he won the Charlotte Roval last year, and finished 8th at Watkins Glen. So he dominates road courses. He's really good at short tracks too. And I think the playoffs usually always work really well for him. I think he got to top 4. I think the last 2 years maybe. I know for sure
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
But the the way the playoff schedule works out, the his main problem is going to be getting through Talladega. He has a problem with, I think, pushing cars in front of him where he can cause wrecks. He's not the smartest
It's
when it
the
comes
Toyota.
to what?
The Toyota front ends have always had problem pushing like the other cars.
Yeah.
I
Well,
believe.
Ford's are usually the best at pushing cars, but Logano still wrecks the whole field most of the time whenever he blocks or pushes, things like that.
Yeah.
But
Mm,
he's never really been the best super speedway driver. So coming through the round of 8, that would be his main problem. But
yeah.
I think it's just the playoffs work so well for him that I think he can carry all the way through and win. He doesn't even. I don't think even has to win most of the races through the round of 16, 12. He probably has to win
Yeah.
by the round of 8 at least to get to round of 4.
Yeah.
But I think just by the fact of how consistent he can run at these tracks, he can win that way. But William Byron, he's obviously the favorite, and he does run good. He's been running good at road courses this year. He runs good at super speedways. That's where he's won most of his races. And I mean, obviously this year he's run well everywhere. Truex, he has to dominate to win, and he won the regular season point standings this year. And then
Yeah.
Hamlin, he always chokes. Same thing you said. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it finishes out for me.
Yeah. Uh, but I feel like everything that we talked about could just be a toss up. Like honestly, Byron could just be inconsistent. Like he could just like Byron. I'm pretty sure Byron had trouble in the playoffs last year, didn't he? He
Say it
didn't.
again.
He was Byron had trouble make in the playoffs last year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's
I
been
believe.
like around a 16 exit every time,
Yeah.
either that or around a 12. I think he made it.
Yeah.
Wait. He might have made it around to 8 last year.
A round of 16
Yeah,
last year, or
in
no,
2020,
2020.
he got eliminated
Yeah.
round of 8 in 2022, and round of 12 in 2019 and 2021. So
Yeah.
he's slowly been getting better. Round of 16, round of 12, round of 8. He could make it to round of 4 this year, but he could also be a Blaney type driver where he just disappears in the playoffs.
I kind of have another question for you. Do you think Chase Elliott will win a race this year?
Honestly, with the way he's been running, I think he's been like the most. He's had the best average finish since getting back after the Coke 600 suspension. Like the past 3 months, he's had the best average finish. He could he could win a race. I think it'd have to be either at Talladega or the Roval. Like he usually wins that. He's won at those two
Yeah.
tracks before. Anywhere else, I don't really know. It's such a stacked field anywhere else.
You did what? So you'd say he's the favorite for like a non-playoff driver to win a race?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think
I'd
I don't
say
think Suarez is gonna
I'd say
win anything.
Allmendinger, AJ Allmendinger could run good at the Roval.
He was
I
last year. He was running really well. I think he was leading a lot of the race last year.
I wonder if Van Gisbergen will race in the Roval like this.
I don't know.
Evan?
He might run at an oval just so he can get experience for that because he already ran at what's it called RCP something like that the
Oh yeah, IRP at
IRP
Indiana.
IRP.
He ran pretty good to be his first oval race ever.
Yeah, and
I'm pretty
that's
sure
a
he
really
finished
difficult
15th.
track to run at anyways. You're running those big trucks on well like a quarter mile.
Yeah, yeah, 50, and he finished 15th, and he wasn't involved in any wrecks, which is
Yeah,
I believe what he said his main goal was just to not be in any wrecks.
yeah. I mean, he finished top 10 at both the races he's raced at in the Cup Series this year. Well, he won one of
Yeah,
them, finished 10th at the
yeah,
other. So if he were to race at the Roval, he'd be a favorite for sure.
yeah.
So just give a rundown again on all your drivers, like their names and round of 16 exits. I'll go first. I got so from 16 down, I'm gonna go Stenhouse, Bubba Wallace, Harvick, Logano, round of 16 exits. McDowell, Blaney, Chastain, Larson, round of 12 exits. Reddick, Keselowski, Bush, and Busher, round of 8 exits. And then final four goes Hamlin, Truex, Byron, and then Christopher Bell winning.
All right. My round of 16 eliminations exits are Bubba Wallace, uh, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell, Ryan Blaney. Round of 12 exits are Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Kevin Harvick, and Brad Keselowski. Round of 8 exits are Busher, Chastain, Logano, and Larson. And then for my championship four, I have Hamlin, Truex, and Bush losing, and William Byron winning the championship.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good bracket too. I could definitely see both ways going. It's kind of just really toss ups for a couple of guys. I'd say most of these rounds are pretty surefire though for who's going to get eliminated and whatnot. All right, does that sound good?
Yeah,
You got anything else to say?
no, that's about it.
All right. Well, if you watch this video, thank you. Subscribe, like, comment. I don't even know if most of you guys even watch NASCAR. I've made 3 football videos so far, but I really just want to get through and make multiple different sports videos. I kind of want to make one on track and field right now with the World Championships just happening recently this past 2 weeks. But yeah, I'm trying to get more consistent with my uploading and everything. Thank you for watching. This is Side Piece Saturday on the Wheatley Podcast.